do it as well.
Did somebody say Devin Booker?
I did.
The Phoenix Suns will pay him $158 million over the next 5 years. But I want to point out it's a dry $158 million. Booker signing a max deal to stay with Phoenix. He averaged 25 points per game this past season, shot 38% from three-point range.
Phoenix Suns fans, it's official. The day I've been waiting on. Sign another 5 years with a great organization. The future is here. It's looking good. I'm excited.
A lot of reason to be excited. By the way, the man won't turn 22 until October 30th. Booker's max extension is the 7th largest contract in NBA history in terms of total value. It's just behind the $159.7 million max deal Chris Paul just signed with the Rockets this offseason. Remember, we were saying, man, what a big Chris Paul deal that is. Booker, significantly younger. That's going to turn out to be, Doug, to be a great contract for that team.
Potential MVP candidate?
He could be. He's that good. He's that good of a scorer. Summer League standouts. We start with Grayson Allen because he can stand out from time to time. He did have it going in the first half. How about the wing three? He's an agitator, but you know what? This guy can fill up the box score. They drafted him in Utah to be that kind of a player, and that organization seems to hit a lot. Speaking of seems to hit a lot, Allen defending Wade Baldwin. Uh-oh. The two would get into it. Baldwin would be assessed a flagrant 2 for the contact. He was ejected. Allen, by the way, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
Number 4 overall pick, your guy, Connors. Jaren Jackson Jr. Chase down block of Henry Ellenson. And then more for 7'4" wingspan. Must be nice.
Jeez.
And he's 6'11".
It just goes on forever.
He does. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks.
Spurs and Pacers, Lonnie Walker getting shots up. Walker all the way. Tough floater in transition.
Easy to spot him on the court.
Yeah, you're right. He's got the big high hair. Again, I want to point out that he's floating the theory that the earth is an illusion. He had 15 points.
No comment. Xavier's Trevon Blewett, undrafted out of the X, and filling it up. 26 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Every summer league has a breakout star.
Could be him. How about second-year player John Collins? Doug, you're high on this dude, huh?
I have him in my keeper league in NBA Fantasy. I love him.
That's depressing. Collins had 30 points, Doug.
Unrelated note, unmarried.
Oh.
not connected at all with my keeper league in NBA Fantasy.
How about, what do we got here? This is from the same game. Top dunks. Look at Jake Layman following that up. You had Wade Baldwin throwing it down on Tony Bradley, and then Jake Layman, and then one more time, Travis Leslie. This dude played at Georgia. He could yoke him in college, and he gets up and throws down a tomahawk right there. Those are your Summer League standouts. Our first look tonight. First time as pros, the two went head up. 8 and 10 points, 8 boards in 22 minutes in his debut. He wasn't involved a ton. Bagley has had mixed results. What did Seth Greenberg want to see from Ayton?
He's got to learn to establish himself and free himself up to score. And like you say, well, they got to get him the ball more. Well, they got to get him the ball more. He's got to work more diligently. He's got to get more touches, but he's got to create some of that on his own by playing lower and being more active.
Yeah, you got to start demanding the ball. I'm open over here. Let your teammates know, right? Ayton only had 6 points in the first half. More on him in a minute. Marvin Bagley had a more aggressive first half. Frank Mason, no look at the range by Bagley to just reach back and lay it up and in. And then, look, that's aggression, fighting on the defensive end. You think he doesn't have a little bit of a chip on his shoulders against the big fella? And then a nice-looking feed to the former Tar Heel, Justin Jackson. Bagley giving you a little bit of everything like a Kardashian Instagram account. Early third quarter, Kings down by 10. Look at Bagley along the baseline. He had 15 and 7 in this game, but he will miss his next game. He's going to have an MRI on his hip and his groin, and maybe on the fact that Josh Jackson swatted that thing in the next week. A lot of contact there, too, although Jackson didn't think it. Look at Ayton. And maybe that's what he needed to get him going, because after that, he was a little bit more vocal. Give it to me. Good position that time. And one on Bagley. Later, down low. Nice feed from Ilya Kobe. Ayton at 21 and 12. Suns go on to win 71-63. Meantime, this just in, the nucleus is here to stay. They are trying to build something in Phoenix, and of course it all starts with that guy, Devin Booker. He has signed a 5-year, $158 million extension with the Suns. 7th highest deal in the history of the NBA for a guy who averaged 25 points per game, shot 38% from three-point range, and he is a happy man. You can understand why, right? Doug, this dude won't turn 22 until the end of October. He's now set for the next 5 years at $158 million. You think about the money that he could make in his career, it could be $500 million when it's all said and done.
He's a lights-out shooter. The Atlanta Hawks hoping Trae Young can become one as well. Don't sleep on Kevin Knox of the Knicks. Yeah, booed a little bit, but that's what happens in New York. Come on, we learned that with Porzingis on draft night. Knox attacking and throwing it down. You know, not a ton of attention when it comes, all relative for Kentucky, when things are all said and done, but he did lead them in scoring. 6'9" wingman and can fly like that outside the restricted area. And then an alley-oop from half court. 11 points in the first half alone, although just 1 of 7 from downtown. Trae Young has struggled for the most part shooting from distance here. Steph Curry range, hence all those comparisons. Just 1 year at Oklahoma.
Wow.
First player ever to lead the nation in scoring and assists. Shades of Oklahoma, Trae Young in this highlight. And the no-look dish to Jock Landale. 10 points, 5 assists in the first half for the 19-year-old. Fourth quarter, Young being guarded by Knox, misses. Knox leaking out. And the 18-year-old with the flush, 22-8 for Knox. Atlanta down 5. Turnover. And Young, the nice lead. 21 points, 11 assists, had a double-double. Knicks get the win. So Young shooting struggling, but a Hawks legend not worried.
You know what, I think a lot of times is that, young guy, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're here for a reason. All you have to do is relax and let the game come to you. When you get out here for the first couple of games, you're always a little tight, maybe a little timid at times, but believe me, he's going to be fine.
Trae Young mentioned the double-double, but still just 16 of 64 from the field through 4 games. That's just 25%, and it's even worse from behind the arc. 6 for 33. That's 18%, half of what he shot at OU last season.
We play on, playa. How about the matchup? Wendell Carter Jr., new Chicago Bull, Colin Sexton. Not enough to keep LeBron in Cleveland, but one of the newest members of the Cavaliers. 15 points, 7 rebounds in his debut. He didn't have an assist in his debut. Sexton can get to the bucket, but after the play, shaking that right arm, that's a shooting arm. So on his second free throw attempt, Doug, how about this? The rookie goes to his left hand.
Is he Ben Simmons?
It's a good call, right? Much better than you would have thought. He would take it out of the game. He would return later. How about Carter? How about the big fella, right? The Bulls, they just make the big-time commitment to
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine yesterday. They matched the offer by Sacramento. Carter, one of those people that they hope is part of the rebuild in Chicago. Get it out of here. Ante Zizic down low. Carter had 5 blocks to go with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Sexton got his groove back in the third quarter. Tough no-look pass to Okaro White in transition. Look at this. That's one of the reasons they got Sexton there in Cleveland later in the third. This dude is just so good at getting to the bucket, through traffic, all the way in the finish. He had 14 points, 6 of 15 shooting. The Bulls win it 86-81 with the Rooks balling out here in their first and second Summer League games. Colin Sexton might not be getting as much love as some of the top 5 picks, but figures to have a lot of opportunities in Cleveland to play his way into Rookie of the Year consideration. As you might expect, DeAndre Ayton, number 1. I'm going with Jaren Jackson.
I don't know if I love Ayton's odds, given he has to share the ball with Booker and some of the other weapons out there in Phoenix. You always got to look for supporting cast. Give me Doncic.
They get one as NBA Summer League. DeAndre Ayton, the Suns, the Kings, Marvin Bagley III, first and second overall picks, respectively, expect to be the cornerstones of those two franchises for quite some time, but Ayton struggled early. Seth Greenberg, what's up?
He's got to learn to establish himself and free himself up to score. And like you say, well, they got to get him the ball more. Well, they got to get him the ball more. He's got to work more diligently. He's got to get more touches, but he's got to create some of that on his own by playing lower and being more active.
Ayton only had 6 points on 2 field goal attempts in the first half. Meanwhile, Bagley like, yo, I'm on my grind, cousin, ain't got no time for fronting. Frank Mason missed the layup, but Bagley is there to glide it back in. Later, Bagley guarding Ayton, jumps the passing lane for the steal, and then how about the handles? Okay. Bagley, dude's got game by the pound, and the dish to Justin Jackson for the layup. We see you. Early third quarter. Bagley again, this time driving, baseline, reversal, and one. He had 15 points, 7 rebounds. About a minute to go. Bagley goes up for the layup, but Josh Jackson's like, yo, take that garbage to St. Elsewhere, son. We are not having it. Take another look. Jackson coming from way from the other side, and Ayton on the bench. He's digging it. All right, so it's time for Ayton to get some buckets. Starting the fourth quarter. Throws a pass over Bagley. Layup and one. Now, Bagley would leave the game with a groin injury. Following that play, they do not believe it's serious, but he will have an MRI on Monday. Then later, Ayton inside, 21-12. So round one goes to Ayton on the scoreboard and in the box score. Suns win this one 71-63.
2 more high picks. 18-year-old Kenny Knox out of Kentucky, taken 9th by the Knicks, turns 19 August 11th. 19-year-old Trae Young, he turns 20 in September. 5th overall pick. He's a Hawk. See how they did. Early first quarter. Oh, my goodness. Kenny, Kevin, Knox. Whoa, with 2 hands. Second quarter, Knox. Oh, flying away. But Nick Hucknall was to Simply Red. Kevin Knox was to the Knicks. Smooth as sunrise, I believe. My goodness. 11 points in the first half. Looking good. Trae Young, meanwhile, again, not afraid to shoot. There's some rain. Still didn't shoot very well in this one. 4 of 12, was 3 of 9. That's a little better. But still, the percentage not real strong. Knicks up. Here's Young. That's what he should probably do more. Shoot less. Pass more. And he passes there. 5 assists, 10 points in the first half. Young dancing. No good there. Here comes Knox. 22 points and 8 rebounds. Knox was 8 of 20 from the floor. Just 1 of 7 from 3. Also had, we mentioned, 8 rebounds, a steal, a block, and there's another nice dish from Young. He's a really good passer. And that's a good dish there. Knicks win 91-89. Both Rooks showing out. So Trae Young has now played 4 games in the Summer League, still struggling finding his shot, hitting just 25% of his field goals, 18% from three-point range. Again, 4 for 12 Saturday, so a little better, 21 points. He was 10 of 12 from the free throw line. 19-year-old Wendell Carter Jr. out of Duke went 7th in the draft to the Bulls, turns 20 in April. 19-year-old Colin Sexton out of Alabama went 8th to Cleveland. He turns 20 January the 4th. First quarter, Sexton got a lot of drive, a lot of juice to his game right here. Wrist. All right, so we're going to shoot left-handed because the right's not feeling very well. Doesn't make it. And a foul, that's odd, but he'll come out. Still holding his arm. Back to Carter Jr. Again, taken just in front of Sexton. Stepping out. Some people think he could be like maybe the guy or like top 3 of all the guys once they're done developing. A lot of game. Bulls might have got a really good one here. That is a sweet. Give me that off the top shelf. Need someone to reach the thin mints off the top shelf for Mama? There's your boy. He'll get him. Third quarter now. Sexton block. Then he makes the real nice bounce pass. He's got so much energy and fire. Really high-level play right there. He had 14 points on 6 of 15 shooting. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. Takes that to the rack with the left and one. He's averaging 14.5 points through 2 Summer League games.